I can just get off at the next light. I can walk over there.
Meet Claire. She's 16, goes to high school, and looks completely normal from the outside. But inside, she is a ruthless vigilante. At the beginning of our story, we see Claire telling herself that everything she says and does is part of God's will. Throughout the film, she constantly repeats these lines to herself. Claire also has a recurring dream where she sees a mysterious man hunting a baby deer, followed by a vision of her own hands covered in blood. This violent obsession completely dominates her mind. By day, she is a student who lives in a small town with her grandmother, Gigi. Gigi used to be a very successful actress. One day, after finishing her classes, Claire is waiting at a bus stop to go home. Soon, two of her friends arrive and point to a notice on the board. They tell her that the bus service is temporarily closed, which means Claire has to walk all the way home on foot. She is about to leave when a stranger pulls up in a car and asks her for directions. At first, Claire hesitates. However, the stranger offers her money for her help and even shows her photos of his two daughters to seem trustworthy. Since he offers to give her a ride in exchange for the directions, Claire figures it isn't a bad deal and gets into his car. But once they are on the road, she notices how incredibly filthy the inside of the car is. Suddenly, a phone begins ringing loudly from his pocket, even though he had just claimed his phone was completely dead. To make matters worse, he locks all the car doors. This makes Claire highly suspicious, and she asks him to pull over at the next stop. Instead of stopping, he just keeps driving, confirming her worst fears. Without wasting any time, Claire wraps a seatbelt around his neck and strangles him. The driver loses control of the vehicle, causing the car to crash in a deserted area. Claire climbs out of the wrecked car and carefully wipes away all evidence of her presence. Then, she pulls a knife from her bag and finishes him off. Looking at this scene, it becomes clear that she wasn't the victim trapped with a killer, he was the one trapped with her. After returning home that night, she meticulously cleans the blood and evidence from her shoes, clothes, and tools. Her calm routine proves this isn't her first time. Hunting down and killing bad people is practically her hobby. When Claire gets inside, she finds her friend Juliana, who had been waiting for her for a long time. They were supposed to study together that night to prepare for an upcoming exam. Juliana asks her where she has been all this time. Claire makes up an excuse, claiming she was waiting for Juliana at Goat's Cafe and couldn't text because her phone battery was dead. Since it is already late, Juliana decides to head home after having dinner. But right before leaving, she mentions that Goat's Cafe was actually closed today for a private event, meaning Juliana knows Claire is lying to her. As soon as Claire goes up to her bedroom, she senses that someone else is there. In reality, she is seeing and talking to a ghost named Bob, a mailman she had accidentally killed some time ago. Bob's spirit warns her about the car crash from earlier, telling her that the incident will bring her serious trouble tomorrow, so she had better prepare herself. However, Claire doesn't pay much attention to his warning and tells him to go away. The next day at school, Claire's friends, Amity and Juliana, are talking about a girl named Teresa Holmes, who mysteriously disappeared from their school last year. They mention that the person behind her disappearance always used the same trick. He would show people photos of his daughters, ask for directions, and then kidnap them. After that, the missing girls were never seen again. Hearing this, Claire instantly realizes that the man she killed yesterday was likely that